Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe Spit Barbecue. As you can see, I've got a brand new smoker, a Yoder YS1500s. I'm going to assemble it and show you how to get it ready for smoking. Stay tuned. Alright, let's start the assembly process of my Yoder YS1500s series. Got to pull the pin here to open the door. There's a few boxes inside the cooking chamber, as you can see, and also inside the pellet hopper. Looks like we got the exhaust stack right here. I'm just going to take it out of the chamber. The second package looks like the front shelf. So I'm just going to take the wrapping off the shelf and go ahead and put it on there. Real simple process to attach the shelf. You have two pegs here, and the cart of the 1500s has two holes in there. You just line them up and slide the shelf on. All right, this looks like the handle to push your smoker around your backyard. All right, so I'm going to take out the cooking grates since I'm going to be washing these. So you got two lower grates and one upper grate. Just take them off. Here's our top grate. All right, so as you can see, we do have a tuning plate on the inside of the chamber and a cotter pin that holds this handle for your heat damper. So I'm just going to pull this cotter pin out. Slide the handle out as well. And the reason I'm doing this is because I got to gain access to that fire pot. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this tuning plate to the right. And here's our fire pot. I just want to take it out, make sure there's nothing on the inside. Piece of paper, cardboard, leftover tools. Looks nice and clear. So just put your grate back in there. All right, let's see what kind of goodies we have in our pellet hopper. Got a small box. We'll open that in a bit. Two other boxes. These might be the gauges. Oh yes, the beautiful Yoder Tell True gauges. Looks like we got two gauges. Got the operations manual and our power cord. Check the hopper as well, make sure there's nothing left over inside. Looks good. All right, so first thing that I'm going to do is install my gauges. I do have a 15/16 wrench that you're going to need to tighten up this nut right here on your gauge. Just screw that in there. Make sure it's in there pretty good. Make sure your gauge is nice and straight. Then use your wrench to tighten up that lock nut. Don't over tighten it, just like that. Get this other gauge on. All right, so both gauges are installed. Now let's go over to the right side and install our smokestack and our push handle. All right, so I've got my push handle right here, and you do have this lock pin. Just take the pin out. Put it right in the hole. Put your pin in there. Just like that. All right, so I've got my exhaust stack right here. Just loosen up your wing nut. Slide her in. Just like that. And tighten up that wing nut. Real simple process. All right, so in one of the boxes, I had this grease pan. Real simple to install this. You have a small hook right here. Just hang it right there, and that's gonna catch all your grease. that's coming out of your smoker. You also have some touch-up paint just in case you need to touch up your smoker. The other things inside that small box were these 2 probes. Okay, so our smoker is completely assembled. Now let's get ready to fire it up. So what you want to do first is grab a handful of pellets and toss them inside your burn pot. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and fill up our hopper with 20 pounds of pellets. Next step is to reinstall your heat damper. Just slide it all the way to the left. Make sure you line the holes, and it should slide in just like that. Grab your damper handle. Reinstall it. Next step is just to reinstall your pin here. Slide it all the way back in. All right, plug in the power cord to your smoker and connect it to your extension cord. Hit the power button on your controller. So all you have to do at this point is hit the start button, which is the top button. So the temperature on the controller is preset to 350 degrees. I'm gonna let the smoker warm up for about 30 minutes and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so my smoker's been warming up for about 30 minutes now at 350 degrees. Just gonna pop the lid open. I'm gonna close my damper all the way in, just like that. And I do have some vegetable oil here. We're gonna coat the entire chamber with this vegetable oil. So some of you guys might be wondering why I'm adding the vegetable oil now when the smoker is nice and hot versus being cold. Well, you got to remember that metal is much like your skin. When it warms up, the pores open up, and that's what you want. You want that oil to go into the pores of the metal, which is going to create a really nice seasoning on the inside of your cooking chamber. So just coat the entire chamber. Don't worry if you add too much, it'll drain down into your grease bucket. All right, so at this point I did wash off my grates. Just use some dish soap so they're nice and clean and dry. Just slide them back in there. All right, I'm gonna spray my bottom grate. So I just ran out of vegetable oil, so I'm going to be using some avocado oil. Same thing, it'll work. All right, so I'm going to install my top grate. So spray the top grate. One of the nice things about the 1500 is that you can get this half rack for the top shelf. Just in case you're smoking something that you need to flip on the bottom rack, you can use this shorter rack to allow you access to your food on the bottom rack. So I'm just going to place that in there. I washed it off as well. I'm going to spray it down with oil. All right, so I'm going to close the door, let everything get nice and seasoned for 1 hour, and I'll bring you guys back at that point. All right, so one last step to seasoning our smoker is to season the outside of our smoker just like we season the inside. And what that's going to do is it's really going to help protect the surface of your smoker and keep it from rusting and oxidizing, which can happen, especially if you keep your smoker outside. So I've got some beef tallow here that I melted down. I've got a clean towel, just a brand new towel. Make sure you're using a hot glove because the surface of the smoker is going to be really hot. And I'm just going to dip my towel inside the beef tallow, just like this. And I'm going to apply this to the exterior of my cooking chamber, the stack, the counterweight, everything, to protect and seal the outside of your smoker as well. You want to apply a nice thin coating. I often get asked what I do to protect the outside of my smokers to keep them looking nice and new. Well, it all starts when your smoker's brand new. If you take care of it when it's new and do some maintenance, when you wash it, we'll start to see some trouble spots. The faster you act, the less damage will happen to the surface. So I'm using beef tallow, but you can use vegetable oil or any high smoke point oil, like almond oil, grapeseed oil, will work as well. Open your door and get the jams as well. Alright, so that concludes the assembly process and also the burning procedures for the Yoder YS1500s pellet smoker. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is your first time to my channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.